Okay, it's about 10:03 now, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I think there might be a few more joining us as we just get started here. But thank you so much for joining us today. For some of you, I hope you have been on a few webinars in preparation for the 2023 Statewide Tour of Manufacturing, which is coming up right around the corner, just a few weeks away during the month of October. So if you're new joining in for today's webinar, welcome. We are so glad that you have joined us this morning. For those of you that I haven't met, my name is Jamie Meyer, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Outreach for the Minnesota State Advanced Manufacturing Center of Excellence. Again, thanks for attending this Friday's webinar in our new Statewide Tour Friday webinar series featuring our new webpage overview today, including new webpage features and resources and Q&A about the tour for this 2023 October Statewide Tour of Manufacturing. I will go ahead and let our Executive Director, Jeremy Luffelman, introduce himself. He is going to be walking us through our new webpage, the webpage overview today for today's webinar as well.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to walk through the brand new webpage. It's kind of been a long road. You know, we've had a web page for quite a few years, and this new one kind of centralizes all of our resources, which you'll see in a little bit. It's really about the user experience and elevating manufacturing. So Jamie's going to go through a few more slides here, and then I will take over and walk you through the web page. And then after I'm done doing that, you can certainly ask questions. Chris will unmute you, and then feel free at any point during the chat to place a question in there, and we will do our best to address it. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeremy. So just really quick, I'm just going to blaze through a few of these slides, intro slides about our center. Here's a quick snapshot overview of our Center of Excellence for those that are not familiar. We are one of 8 centers of excellence that were established by the Minnesota State College and University system that we serve industry, and the other 7 centers include agriculture, engineering, energy, health, IT, and transportation industries are represented and identified as a need. We identified a need to serve in the space between industry and education so that education can stay up to date with industry and industries engaged with education to ensure the next skilled workers in industry. So while we serve the entire state, our center is hosted by Bemidji State University. There are 26 technical and community colleges and 4 universities offering certificate and degree programs in Minnesota, and we work to support their efforts. Our center's priorities are to engage industry, enhance education, and inspire students to pursue careers in manufacturing. And our mission is careers in manufacturing. We want to help recruit and educate the next generation of workers. And just bringing attention to an issue that we have as to why we focus on the work that we do. There are nationwide 4 million jobs that need to be filled by 2030. And likely over 2 million will go unfilled. So that can have a huge $1 trillion impact on our nation's economy. And that trickles into Minnesota. Only 53% of Minnesota manufacturers' top concerns are attracting qualified workers. In fact, next to inflation, changing the perception of manufacturing is in the top 2 concerns with the 2023 State of Manufacturing report facing Minnesota manufacturers. So there are over 10,000 open jobs in Minnesota manufacturing. And for the solution to this issue, increasing awareness. We know that students have influencers in their lives, caregivers, educators, and parents are part of that process. So we're working towards changing that perception with all of the influencers. So it's really just important that we engage all of the audiences in this process. And moving on to the statewide tour overview and impact. This statewide tour that we've done annually since 2011 is Minnesota Manufacturing's biggest annual opportunity to inspire the next generation, positively shift perceptions about the industry, and build the foundation for the manufacturing workforce of the future. Our goal is to increase statewide awareness and show the realities of modern manufacturing and to inspire that next generation of workers. So that means we're trying to showcase those diverse career opportunities in the industry. Oftentimes it's right in our own backyard. Demonstrate that manufacturing is exciting, high-tech, sustainable, and really everywhere. Manufacturing careers offer high pay, professional growth, and the ability to impact the world around us. And really, this initiative empowers Minnesota manufacturers to come together and address the collective challenges to help our communities and future generations thrive. And our center's role is really to lead at that high level, the statewide collaboration, to join together efforts and track the impact, to serve really as that megaphone, raise the visibility of the industry and its career opportunities, and also the career pathway with our education partners. So we are recruiting the next skilled worker for the industry. Our work is truly dedicated to leading and growing this effort. And that means seeking out financial support, either through grants or sponsorships, and sponsorship dollars help sustain this initiative, as well as grow this effort and develop more resources. We are serving in the space of leading the efforts statewide in changing the perception campaign throughout Minnesota. And this is one way that we do that. Here are our partners in collaboration. We have pulled together 9 regions throughout Minnesota and located regional champions and partnerships throughout the state to join in this effort. So this is really where the magic happens. There's identified boots on the ground in regions throughout Minnesota that coordinate tours year after year and facilitate companies to talk to schools and that engagement and host events such as this. So this is an opportunity to connect to schools and make that connection with manufacturers and schools, educators, and really communicating to all those audiences. And I just want to really bring to light before Jeremy kicks off our new webpage overview, that it's really important to register your event. You know, the goal for this initiative is to increase attendance and add awareness, really culture around this effort, it's bigger than just a one-off event. It's an effort for Minnesota manufacturing. So make sure that you have a shareable link, register your event. It will pop up on the map. Look at the statewide tour impact. Why, again, register your event? It's beyond just showing up on this map. It's, you know, there's a landing page when you register, and that's a shareable link that you can share out. So it's an opportunity for you to promote your company, share out your participation in the statewide effort, bringing awareness and celebrating manufacturing. You could also use it as a recruitment tool as well. And it's an opportunity for educators or the public. They can see the map and get in touch with the company, as well as local officials, local leaders. It helps increase your attendance to your tour as well. And it can really make a big impact. You know, it's helping joining in with all the efforts statewide to raise that awareness in ways that we are pulling together to impact the future of manufacturing. So it really demonstrates community of manufacturers throughout Minnesota. And all of us throughout Minnesota are trying to pull together, working on the statewide tour. You know, there's a whole lot of partners and groups that are involved, and it really shows the community impact. It doesn't cost anything, and we can help you get registered as well. You know, it certainly demonstrates continuity, advocacy. There's a whole collaboration and partnerships working together to share in this effort of changing the perception of manufacturing and trying to make a difference in our economy in Minnesota, and with our manufacturers having that workforce talent issue. So if you have any community events or multiple tours, we want all of that to show up on our tour map. So you can send us, you know, those spreadsheets if you have those multiple tours. We're certainly here to help making sure that the impact is tracked. So now moving on to Jeremy, he's going to walk us through our brand new webpage.
Great, thanks, Jamie. Let me just get this screen pulled up here. I've disabled my camera because my webcam is not set up on my larger monitor, and it's important to show you on a larger monitor rather than my laptop. So bear with me and just please let me know if you can see this.
Yeah, looks good.
Good to go? All right, excellent. Well, thank you so much, everybody, once again for joining. As Jamie said, our goal is to really raise the visibility of manufacturing, promoting it as the career of choice and aligning career pathways to manufacturing. So we work with a lot of different manufacturers as well as educators across the state of Minnesota. So I would invite you, Carissa has posted in the chat, to join on mnmfg.org/statewide tour and just walk through the website at your leisure. You can follow along, of course, online as well. So once again, if you have any questions during this walkthrough, please post them in the chat. At the end of this short presentation, Jamie and I will be available to answer any and all questions that you have related to the website or anything related to the tour. So we're getting started. So everyone should be able to see our new homepage. This is the new homepage for the statewide tour of manufacturing. We've really thought a lot about bringing everything together, so it enhances the user experience. Things are really easy to find. We're not managing content across a lot of pages, so everything you need to know about the statewide tour is here. So starting out, you'll notice at the top, anytime you need to get back to this homepage, if you navigate, and I will certainly slow down here, but anytime you want to get back up to the top of the page, simply click the Minnesota State logo up in the upper left, and that will bring you back home. You can also, if you want to go right to finding a tour in Minnesota, we have a bunch populated already. We have tours extending into November. That's an option. This link will take you directly to the listing of tours. And then also, if you want to sponsor us, one thing I will say about sponsorship, we utilize sponsorship dollars to help. We dump everything we receive back into the tour to supply bus funding for the state. We also do safety glasses and some other pro manufacturing things. So I'll cover that after a little bit. So moving down, you'll notice at the top, we have a timer. The statewide tour starts officially in 9 days, 13 hours, 42 minutes, and now 33 seconds. So it's, manufacturing is not limited to just October to do tours. We want to make that very clear. You are able to go in and register your tour anytime during the year, and it will show up on our site after we do a review of it. So our celebration of Minnesota manufacturing coincides with Manufacturers Day, which became Manufacturers Week, and now Manufacturing Month. So if you have a tour, you want to do one in July or February when it's really nice and balmy in Minnesota, feel free to register it on our site. All right, so moving down, there's a little bit of information surrounding the statewide tour, the reasons why and what you can do during a tour. So attendees can go on in-person tours or virtual tours. During these tours, they can learn about manufacturing careers, discover products made by manufacturers, see what manufacturing actually offers today, and then experience the latest technologies. Within the state of Minnesota, there are over 8,000 manufacturers, and it is likely that there are manufacturers in your hometown that exist that you may not know about, depending on the size of the city. So it's really important to know that manufacturing is everywhere, and every product that you use every single day was designed and manufactured by someone somewhere. And Minnesota is a really great place for manufacturing. So you'll notice this tab right here. You can certainly link down to finding a tour, and we'll get to that after a little bit here. Scrolling back up, this hyperlink brings you to finding a regional contact. So we'll kind of talk through what the regional contacts do, the regional champions, and how you can get a hold of them if you have questions. And you can always reach out to us as well. We're very responsive to email and phone calls. We will get back to you. So if you send us something, hang tight, we'll be back with you. Hosting a tour. That's one thing that we really encourage everyone on the call to do, whether you're a manufacturer or an educator, or you're working within a community. Let's say you're a community organizer. Registering a tour is really about how we say, hey, look at all of the tours taking place in Minnesota. We would love to have 8,000 manufacturers register the tour. It would really keep this site hopping and probably actually crash it. But, you know, the goal is to expose not only young people, but also those looking to upskill, those that are, you know, looking to switch jobs. Maybe they're not happy in their current career. Manufacturing is a great career of choice. And then also the last hyperlink tab up at the top is sponsoring the tour. And I will kind of talk through some different things there. If you bear with me 1 second, I need to pull open one item here. It's not loading. My browser was not loading something here, so hang on. It was working earlier. I'll just go back to this site on a different browser. Okay, we're back. Okay. So you'll notice on the right side, there's a state of Minnesota. These are the 9 regions that exist in the state. And if you work in workforce development or any other public entity, you know that there's different regions. The lines may not correspond exactly with where you are located or where you normally work with. So this is how we have broken down the state based on our educational partners and then various manufacturers. So if you wanted to find a tour, for instance, in northeastern Minnesota, you simply click this little marker icon, and it's going to bring you to another page that shows all of those tours that are currently registered in this area. So right now, starting October 4th, you can see there's IPS Cranes in northeastern Minnesota is hosting a tour. LP Building Solutions, Stanley LaBounty, Cirrus Aircraft, GPM. You can simply scroll over to find next tours. And if you need to find upcoming tours, you know, let's say we want to go through October 28th. Okay, well, there's probably none scheduled through October 28th. So maybe that's a bad example. All right, so upcoming tours, it looks like in northeastern Minnesota, what is currently scheduled at the moment, we have a tour through October 7th. So anything beyond that, it's not finding tours at the moment. So that's why we really encourage people to register their tours. You can also subscribe to the calendar, which I believe gives you updates. So as tours are posted, you'll be able to locate those really easily and receive notifications. If you want to learn more about a specific tour, you simply hit tour details. And this is all the tour details for that day. So it provides a description of the actual tour location, and then it provides a map. If you need to find directions, you can certainly do that. You can also add this to the calendar. So if you're in northeastern Minnesota and you're like, hey, I really want to go to 5 manufacturers, you can simply add those appointments to your calendar. You can find directions, things like that. So all of the details are indicated on the right-hand side. So for instance, this specific tour is open to the public. So feel free to stop by. In most cases, there's no pre-registration required. I would say a couple tours a year may require pre-registration, just so they can kind of plan their day. But largely, these are just stop by, maybe grab some cookies, look at what manufacturing is. You'll also notice that some tours are closed to the public. They are school only. So high schools throughout Minnesota have worked to arrange tours with various manufacturers around the state. So those would not be something that the public would be able to attend. They have specific dates and times. They may have 800 to 1,000 students stopping by that manufacturer across 1 or 2 days. So it's going to be a little bit chaotic, but exciting as well. If you wanted to find out more about this specific company, you just simply click their website and it'll bring you directly to their website. So this is ME Elect Metal Manufacturing Day Open House. So it's also on the Manufacturing Institute website. So just click those links, click around, see what you can find. We have a little brief company description. If there are any type of parking restrictions or anything like that, those will be listed here. I would recommend, if you do plan to host a tour or attend a tour, you should wear closed-toe shoes, probably long pants, things like that. Teenagers typically show up in, Crocs or sandals or whatever. So it's really important that if you're a school, you make sure that you're abiding by what the companies are outlining in terms of restrictions and things like that. We want to make sure that everyone is safe. All right, so just a little bit about that. If you need to zoom in on where that location is, you can just hit the plus button and it's going to center the location, and you can just zoom all the way in to see where you're going. All right, I'm going to click back so it gets us back to our start page again. All right, so like I said, any type of regional tours. At the moment, I don't know that we have anything registered in the west, but I know we have a lot in the central, some in the north, northeast, metro, and southeast. So as we get closer to October, I would check back literally daily to see what tours are popping up in your regions. So, we allow people to register tours throughout the year and certainly during the month of October. So check back frequently and find a tour near you.
Jeremy, we have a question in the chat that relates to registering that I wanted to highlight. Laura Anderson asks, is our regional partner responsible for posting the tour on the map, or are we?
Thanks, Krissa. So my recommendation is, what we would like to see as a center is that you work in partnership with your regional contact to get that tour up. I'm going to talk about registering the tour next. So it's a really easy and painless process, but you have the capability of doing that, as does the regional contact. So if you have time to do it, that would be the best thing. Your company, the websites you want them to visit and all of those things. So I would recommend that you, as a manufacturer or a college or a community organizer that's organizing an event, you go ahead and register your tour on the site. What happens when you hit that register or submission button, it's going to go into a queue for us to take a quick look at it, make sure all the links work and everything, and then it will be posted to the site generally within 1 to 3 business days. Of course, over the weekend, we're probably not going to pay a whole lot of attention to the site, although I do. I watch it, 24/7, don't get a lot of sleep. I'm just excited about this tour. So anyhow, we're going to walk through the registering your tour next. So as stated, if you are, let's say you work with a chamber and you want to host a manufacturing event in your community, or you're some type of workforce development, or you want to highlight an advanced manufacturing program at your college, or you're a manufacturer and you're like, you know what, I want people to come to my tour, my open house, whatever it is. We really want to celebrate and highlight manufacturing. The purpose of registering, and really the purpose of the tour, it allows you as the organizer to showcase your facility. We want to get people's minds changed about, manufacturing. We don't want to talk about the dark, dirty, dingy of past decades. If any of you have been in manufacturers today, it blows my mind. There are clean rooms, there's highly technical machinery, automated equipment, lights out manufacturing. It's just a really amazing place, and no manufacturer is cookie cutter. So, all right, so we will jump into registering a tour today. So you simply click this button that says register a tour today. That is going to bring you to a registration page. So I'll just kind of walk through. We're just going to do Minnesota State Advanced Manufacturing COE test tour. So make sure that the title you put in there is what you actually want to display. We will do some spell checks before we post, but we cannot guarantee that we'll catch them all. So make sure that you have a couple set of eyes on your tour title, tour description, things like that. The tour description, you want to basically say, this tour will showcase our amazing facility. Make something sound very engaging. We want to really drive a lot of traffic to these different tours. Now, keep in mind, when people go to the site and they're hunting for a tour, they're going to have a lot to pick from. So whether that's, making your title very interesting, what is the exact title you want to use, the tour description, what are attendees going to come away with? Are you giving out cookies? Is there a pair of safety glasses? Do they get a new car? I don't know, whatever it is. So anyway, tour description, that's going to be really important to kind of highlight what you want to show. Then simply you pick, okay, like I said, we will accept tours, through whatever date. It's not only October, but just for today, let's say the tour is October 19th. We're going to have it from 10:30 to 3 p.m. ending the same day. Make sure if you need to edit your time zone, you can certainly do that. These are, I believe, Central Time. You can also click this button that says all day event. So if you want to have people there, all day, you'll probably want to specify within the tour description, what all day means, because you may have people showing up at 12:01 a.m. or at 11:30 at night if it says all day. So just put as much detail in there to make it clear for the audiences you're trying to attract. You can also schedule multiple events, but we won't do that for right now. Tour types. If you are a college, simply hit college. If you're a manufacturer and it's open to the public, you can select that. If it's a regional event, go ahead and select that. So that would be like a community tour, community event. You have a big celebration of manufacturing, a really focused event. You can go ahead and do that. School only, let's say it's a school only tour. You just go ahead and pick that. If that's not what you want, you can go ahead and delete that. If you only are going to offer a virtual tour, then you can go ahead and select that. But for our purposes today, we're going to do a school only. We'll get rid of the virtual tour. The tour region. Now, this is going to be really important. If you look back at the regions, you'll notice that the state of Minnesota is broken up into 9 regions. So wherever you exist within the state or our bordering states, you simply pick that county that you are in or closest to, and that's where you register. So like for us, this is Beltrami County. So I would register that tour in the north. If you are in, Sherburne County, I believe that's kind of in central Minnesota, and that's probably this little county right here, kind of where St. Cloud is. Northeast is like Couchiching and some other lake counties. So whatever county you're in, this is basically the map that you will use to determine that. All right, so I'm just going to say our tour is in the north. And what that does is when this is registered, selecting the proper tour region will apply a tag to your tour, so then you can easily be found. If you're in the northwestern part of the state, if you do not put a tour region in, then people may not find you by selecting the Northwest. Because keep in mind, this is statewide, and even some bordering states put tours on our site. So the more information you can give us, the better people can find you. All right, location details. This is going to be really important. This is how it gets populated to the map feature to show up right here. So going back to the tour registration page, you'll want to put in the actual address. Make sure that your city is named correctly. The address actually exists. It's not out in some field somewhere. It's not to your corporate headquarters when you actually want it at, your manufacturing facility. So you simply put in the location name, address, city. The country is United States. We're probably not going to, register a tour in England. That might be okay, I guess. But state or province, we have it landing on Minnesota. Sometimes we will get tours that show up from North Dakota, Wisconsin, maybe South Dakota. So Minnesota is kind of the default, and this is really about celebrating Minnesota manufacturing. However, manufacturing is important across the upper Midwest, so people can register their tours. Make sure you put in your zip code, phone number, and then what website you want to go to. And if there's another location you'd like to add, you can certainly do that as well. You'll also want to put in who the organizer name is, their phone number, website, and email. So the organizer detail, if you're just registering a tour for a company, let's say you're a regional contact or you're a Chamber of Commerce member, and you have, Red Wing Shoes in southeastern Minnesota, if you're not actually organizing that tour, make sure that this is the actual tour contact, so people can then go there and ask those people questions, on, what type of PPE should I wear and things like that. The tour website, this is where you want to make sure you put in a proper website so people can find your tour. People will go to this site. They will click through, get tour details, and then the tour website is really important, so they can find the actual tour and more information that you want to post. We're kind of a really nice centralized landing page to where once you find a tour you want to attend, those outbound links are very important. You can certainly find out more information by going to those links. You can add additional information if you want to do company description, any parking restrictions, if you don't allow, children under the age of 10 into a tour, you can state that, or anyone under 18 or whatever. That is, of course, up to you who you let in your facility. We want to make it open to as many people as possible, but we understand some environments are extremely dangerous, and you may not want a 5-year-old that, you know, might go wandering off on a tour. So you'll, of course, have full control and discretion about that. Who's the manufacturing contact, phone number, email, and then we'd like to understand how you hear about the statewide tour. That helps us in our strategic marketing efforts, and just, you know, where are people hearing about the tour? Is it through our newsletter, social media posts, things like that? And then if you have any other comments, you simply, once you get all that filled out, you hit "I'm not a robot." There's certainly a couple required fields in here. I didn't do everything. So hopefully when you hit a submit tour, it will tell you tour submitted. So please keep in mind, these will be put into a queue where we will then go in and review them at the center to ensure accuracy, the links are working, any blatant spelling errors. It's very possible we have had 1 or 2 companies over the years that the description it's laced with profanity. So those are the things that we're going to take out of your tour. So if you can avoid using anything that would not be appropriate in the description, that would be great.
Hi, Jeremy. We have another question in the chat that relates to the different fields that we're walking through as you register your tour.
Yes.
Holly Rickert asked, do all fields show up for a private tour on the map? For example, if I have a school tour, will everyone be able to see the date, time, and location they are going?
I believe yes. However, you know, it does say when that tour is actually registered that it is a closed tour. Now we could potentially, when that tag, this is a good suggestion, so we'll certainly take note of this. You know, if you don't want a date or time shown, you know, obviously you want to celebrate manufacturing. We want to get as many manufacturers up as possible. It could be a safety consideration if that's kind of part of the question. You know, we don't want a whole bunch of people that shouldn't be there. That is something we'll certainly consider for the future, if, you know, how best to handle those that are actually closed tours, to not be able to find those tours. You know, they'll still have the address, you know, tour description. Just make sure that in your tour description for now, until we can take a deeper look at this in the future, that you can put within the title and the tour description that is a closed tour. Just draw attention to that. Most people are going to just avoid that and say, you know what, I'm not going to go to this closed tour. It's not open to the public, things like that. So that's probably the best advice I can give you at the moment. All right, so tours are submitted. We're going to go back to, looks like we have about 19 minutes left. So, but those were 2 of the really main things, you know, is registering a tour and then finding tours. We have some nice manufacturing facts. So, you know, prior to the pandemic, we were in the 600 and some range for individual tours. I think the most individual manufacturers that participated was like 209. So we are really building that back up. But you'll notice efforts for promotion this year and bringing this tour website together, we're expecting to exceed past registrations on our site. Like I said, our goal with the statewide tour is to bring visibility to advanced manufacturing and the pathways that people can get to get there. So we don't get anything from this. We're not in competition with anyone. We're just a nice centralized location with a a pretty cool website that allows that. If you continue to scroll down, we have a section that is known as tour resources. So you'll notice the first option are guides. So if you're a community tour or a community organizer, you know, Chamber of Commerce, workforce development of some sort, you know, workforce center, whoever you might be, and you're organizing a tour of a manufacturer, or, you know, you're hosting an event, you can simply click through on one of these guides and it will give you some best practices. If you're a manufacturer, for instance, and I invite you to peruse, I'll just go into one of these examples and show you kind of what you're to expect. In the future, so 2024, we will have a comprehensive statewide tour guide that will have all of these sections embedded in one guide. So that will be available digitally. It'll be kind of in a flip book type style. So you can see, you know, depending what entity you are, how best to schedule a tour. So if you're a manufacturer, just clicking through this is going to bring you through to basically a tour checklist. It gives you some best practices that we have collected over the years by, you know, our statewide tour committee. And just since we've been in the leading the statewide tour, you know, for over a decade, we found that having these resources at people's fingertips makes for a better tour. So this gives you some best practices. You know, what do you do, you know, 7 to 10 days before the tour? You know, it's kind of a checklist style. What you do the day of the tour, what you do after the tour, some ways to deepen student engagement, and contact information. If you have any questions at any point, please reach out to Jamie Meyer, Director of Marketing and Outreach for the center. And if she can't answer the question, she will find someone that can. She's been leading the tour for quite a while and is a really great resource and asset to the center. So all of these guides are fairly similar. So I just invite you to kind of peruse at your leisure. All right, videos. Let's say you want to have a video playing in the background at your company. We have quite a few free videos that you can access via our YouTube channel. So you can access these in one of two ways. Once this loads here, we probably have 5 million people on this webinar, so it's crashing our site. My apologies. All right, that's a little Friday humor for everyone. All right, so you can also, down at the bottom of all of our tour pages or all of our web pages, just simply click the YouTube link at the bottom. That will bring you to the exact same place. So as a tour host, organizer, manufacturer, educator, whoever, you can simply click through and have these videos play, whichever ones you want. And these have been made in the last, you know, 1 to 5 years, some maybe a little bit older, but it's all relevant to Minnesota manufacturing. So I would just invite you, and this doesn't only need to be shown during the tour. These are just resources for you to help support your tour. If you wanted to show these at a career fair that you're hosting, that wouldn't necessarily be directly related to the tour, you have full unfettered access to these. So they're each about, you know, 2 minutes long, and we encourage you to use them. So please check this page out. All right, I'm going to close out of a couple resources here and get back up to our resources. All right, templates. I know we're running short on time here, so if you have questions, please place them in the chat. I'll do my best. It's important to run through these resources so you know what to access. So the center has developed various templates. we are trying to be the easy button for people. You know, if a manufacturer, for instance, wants to put out a press release, we have a template to do so. You simply click the link and it will bring you to the actual template. Now, you're more than welcome to co-brand these, put your own information. We have developed some good language to think about. Please modify this as you see fit. You'll notice anything in the brackets is things that you put in. But this is some canned language. It tells about, you know, the tour. You'll want to put your tour details, whatever. And then you would, of course, put that out to various media outlets, and hopefully they pick that up for your tour. So that's just one example. We also have, if you want to advertise on the radio, we have 4 different options on, you know, just some language. So you don't have to really put in the work or the thought of developing all of this stuff. You certainly can, but if you kind of want to hit the easy button, want to get the word out, we've provided these free resources for your use. Let's see. If you want to invite a school, same thing. You know, this, you would, of course, send this out to whoever, but this kind of provides some language to kind of make it easy for you to invite a school to your tour. And I can't stress enough the importance of developing relationships with secondary and post-secondary educational institutions, and vice versa. If you're an educator, how important it is to engage with manufacturing. And this is a great way. The statewide tour kind of brings everyone to the same table and really celebrates manufacturing. The next section, safety glasses. So for now, based on sponsorships that we've received in the past, we're able to offer free safety glasses. We are limiting the request to 1 per organization. We, of course, do not have an unlimited stock, but we'll try to do our best to fill up to 36 per request. So simply put in your organization name, who the contact is, or the contact title, your first and last name, phone number, email, and this is really important, putting in the address, and then the quantity requested. So let's say I want 12 of these. You simply put in 12 up to a max of 36. If you need to go over 36, let's say you need 50 or 48, we can take those you know, requests on a case-by-case basis and send what we have. Our stock is limited. That's the importance of supporting and sponsoring the center that allows us to do provide these resources free of charge. So you simply hit the tour submission or the safety glasses submission button, and that's going to send us an email with your order information. We will review it, and then we're working through some logistical things. We'll start shipping out safety glasses within the next week, and those can take anywhere from 4 to 7 business days. So if you have a tour on October 1st, you should be able to get your safety glasses by then. All right. Tour toolkit, I'm not going to touch on because we do not have that ready at the moment. I will come back to bus funding and then sponsorship information. I will cover that right now. Sponsorship information. If you are a manufacturer and you want to support the center, like I said, every dollar that we collect, we put right back into this tour. We are, you know, we're an educational organization. We do not, you know, go on expensive trips or anything like this. Everything we collect supports youth outreach events, you know, summer camps, things like that. We put it back into our statewide tour, also our educational conference we have. So I would encourage you to visit our financial support page. So we're gonna go down there. There's multiple sponsorship levels as a company. So currently we have Minnesota State, MPMA, Marvin, and then Metalcraft Riverside that have stepped up and sponsored parts of the conference. So outreach sponsors, these are generally bus sponsors. So if you want to say, you know what, I want to get a bus load of kids to some company in my region, or I don't really care where it is, bus sponsorships start at $250. You can sponsor, 1 to 100 buses if you'd like. If there's various benefits associated with each sponsorship level, so I'll just kind of go through that on the next page. You can hit sponsor now. That's going to bring you to our financial support page. You can peruse our statewide tour insert. This just kind of gives you more information about the statewide tour, ways to get involved, things of that nature. And, it's all about showcasing manufacturing and getting people into the industry. If you want to say, you know what, I need to understand what the different benefits are, we also have that link. So you can go through and say, all right, if I sponsor a bus, these are the 3 benefits. You'll get your logo listed as a sponsor on our statewide tour webpage, like you saw the other 4 sponsors. Through social media, you'll be thanked and things like that. And your logo will be printed on the 2024 statewide tour guide. And of course, as your dollars increase to support the tour, the benefits increase. So I would invite you to take a look at that and sponsor us. Simply scroll down to the bottom and you can select your different sponsorship level. You can, do a custom donation. You can select 4 buses, and what that does, it makes those dollars available to supply 4 buses to schools in the region. We really want to get people to manufacturing tours. If you say, you know what, I only want a bus to fund for this specific school, just place that in the comment and we'll make sure that bus funding gets to that region, and then they'll help set up the busing and things like that. In the program designation, we have a few different options. Just select statewide tour. If you're making this gift on behalf of an organization, just simply fill that out. If it's an individual, first, last name, give as much information as you can. Then you hit the secure payment website, enter in your payment information, and that will send us notification that sponsorship has come in, and then we will start executing your sponsorship benefits. All right, and then finally, the last thing I wanted to cover today is all about bus funding. We really, in the past, a lot of organizations, schools have contacted us directly to apply for bus funding. I'll be sending out communication to, if you're on this call and you have sent in a request, I'll be sending out communication later this morning on next steps. But in a nutshell, we really want to encourage schools around the state to start working within their specific regions. So if you are in southwestern Minnesota, you can either find the region over here, Marshall, Cottonwood, Tyler, Pipestone, Redwood Falls, wherever down in the south western part of the state. You can either find the regional contact here, send Jason Bruns an email, and maybe it's help finding a tour. He will help get you connected or help get you connected with us. If it's finding $250 for a tour, if we have funds available, he can put in a request through the center, and if we have available funding, those dollars flow back to these organizations, and then they can help distribute that funding. You can also click the marker over here. So I'd really encourage you to kind of peruse these various regions. For the west part of the state, central and east, we are actively seeking regional champions. Right now, you'll notice Jamie Myers listed. So if you have a request or something related to the tour, please reach out to her. Metro is Steve Kalina with MPMA. The North region is Scott Turn with Bemidji Area Chamber of Commerce. Northeast region is Jill Murray with Lake Superior College. She's a Perkins coordinator. Northwestern Minnesota is Adam Baumgartner with Polaris. Southeastern is Mike Schnell with the Southeastern Service Cooperative, I believe. Southwest, Jason Bruns once again, and then the West, Jamie Meyer. If you want to see who our statewide tour committee members are, you can certainly click through, and this provides all of the people in the state that are working to make the statewide tour possible. All right, and I think we'll go ahead and open it up for any questions.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again for attending. I'm going to make sure that all of you have the option to talk, and you can unmute yourself. So I'm going to go through and allow you all to talk. If you'd like to ask questions, please feel free to do that. You also can ask questions in the chat or in the Q&A.
And we certainly will hang on past 11 o'clock. We've got nothing but time. But I know we are between you and the weekend, so maybe, you know, ask your questions. We're here to answer them.
We're leaving the website up to ask questions about the website, but really this webinar was dedicated to just serve as open space for those questions about coordinating a tour, attending a tour, hosting a tour, any of those questions. So again, this webinar was promoted and still is at this point in time, just opening up that space, allowing that space to ask questions. So please feel free to do so. We have this, again, the website's still up, but I can share my screen and get back to the presentation so we can focus on those questions or, you know, close up this webinar.
I would encourage everyone on the call to register your tour, get involved with the statewide tour of manufacturing. If you want to serve on our statewide planning committee, we are open to more people across the state. We want to make sure that every manufacturer in every part of the state is represented. So just drop Jamie a line or myself a line, and you can find our contact information on our website.
And I just wanted to mention while we're waiting that it's really important to measure the impact. As we shared earlier, that's something that we take on. So registering your tour is really important, but we'll post a survey instrument on our website and a success story outline to help you measure the impact of your event or tours. And I recommend that you set goals and objectives ahead of time as a team within your organization or even within your classroom, and then decide how you want to measure the impact of attending a tour or hosting a tour. New this year, and we shared in other webinar presentations, is that we're going to roll out a student contest. As many of you have experienced yourself, those Facebook Reels, those Instagram Reels, those short videos are becoming so compelling. And this is, offers kind of a great platform to have students create one about what they learned about careers in manufacturing, what's exciting about working in manufacturing, why they would choose a career in manufacturing, why they would recommend a career in manufacturing. So we're going to be rolling out a video contest statewide for schools to take on, and it creates really a viral impact when they're sharing them out on social media with all of the views, and also being highlighted as a competition for those students to win a prize at an awards banquet. The awards banquet is going to take place celebrating all of the impact of the statewide tour of manufacturing, and obviously celebrating manufacturing statewide will be after the tour concludes at the end of the year. So again, the tour is recognized the entire year. In Minnesota, at our state level, our governor recognizes Minnesota and honors manufacturers during the month of October, but tours can happen outside of that time. It works better for schools or manufacturers to do so in the spring or summer, that type of thing. So anyway, we measure the impact annually from January until December. And so we'll host that awards banquet post-tour with all of the results from all of the regions and have some celebrations and awards, and one of those being a student contest. And so there's just a couple of you left here, but we are wrapping up our Friday webinar series. We wanted to have an opportunity to walk through our new webpage and offer that space for questions and answers, so that if you did not have the opportunity when I was presenting in the other webinars, they were very full, to ask some of those questions. If this still is not a space, you can certainly email me directly with those questions, as I'm getting them in daily questions and calls. And then we are going to host another opportunity with a comprehensive web page overview about the statewide tour of manufacturing, as we're rolling out all of kind of updated branding and really bringing efficiency to some of our resources and combining things. It's an opportunity for you to kind of walk through how our new web page interacts and what functions and what's highlighted on there. So we're going to host one last and final web page overview session. Jeremy, our executive director, who presented today, is going to lead that overview webinar as well on October 6th at 10 a.m. So just wrapping up here again, if you're still hanging on and you have some questions, just ask away. But I wanted to thank you for your time today, approaching the weekend on this Friday webinar series. And we really appreciate you being here, and thanks for supporting the tour.
Thank you, folks.